Hi. People have been talking to me occasionally about the fact that this ongoing sort of fight against the quote-unquote church, which is really a fight against David Miscavige, who's sort of misleading the church. And people sometimes talk to me about how negative it all is and the fact that they're losing the real point of the whole subject, which is just to study Scientology and get audited and train and go up the bridge. And I was asked to maybe make a few comments about that, and I agree that while the most important target is to reform the church and put in a new management structure, that doesn't mean that the entire everyone's entire activities have to be focused totally on negative things and being critical and being hostile to what is actually going on. The whole point of trying to put a new management structure in the church is simply so Scientology can be delivered and more people can avail themselves of LRH's tech, listen to his lectures, get audited, get trained, help others, and go free. That's the whole point of Scientology. And I think it's important that people don't get too stuck in just looking to bring something down or bring somebody down, and don't lose sight of the fact that the real point of everything is just to do Scientology. There's a lot of people criticizing the way things are going, and it can get sort of negative, and you can kind of get caught up in all the end theta. Well, the fact of the matter is there is a fight going on, and in a fight, people do get interpolated, and things are said, and verbal, I mean, the ammunition being used in this fight is really written and spoken communication. And those bullets start flying, and people get messed up, and they get interpolated, and so on. But don't ever forget that the real point of all of it is just to be able to make Scientology more available to people, help them get up the bridge, and you can do that by studying on your own. There's a lot of materials available on the internet. You can find almost anything you want to study, and you can download it for free. Of course, you can go into an org and buy the things as well, buy the books and lectures, and that's just fine. But the main thing is to not lose sight of the fact that the whole reason that there's this sort of upheaval going on is that Scientology hasn't been, I mean, the Scientology that a lot of us knew in the 60s and 70s has been lost and been replaced by a much less friendly, a much more out of ARC, a much more authoritarian and dictatorial, quote-unquote, Scientology, which is really much more akin to what goes on in North Korea or repressive regimes or repressive dictatorial organizations. And that's not what Scientology is. And if it's being called Scientology, it's something else. It's a wolf in sheep's clothing, and it's not something that more and more people are waking up to the fact that what they're being told is Scientology is something quite different. So my advice would be to, yes, by all means, contribute to getting the church reformed to more along the lines of what you actually in your own heart know it should be and has been. But at the same time, don't get so caught up in that you actually throw out the baby with the bathwater, meaning that you don't avail yourself of what is available. The tech is out there. There are many people auditing in the field. There are many people studying on their own or studying in groups in the field. And Scientology is available, and you don't have to study it within the confines of the church. Sure, someday there is going to be reformation happening. It's happening right now. This is more of sort of, I guess you'd say, it's an insurgency at the moment. But before too long, you're going to see groups springing up, and in fact, groups exist. There's people auditing in the free zone. There's groups where you can study, and you can do courses in the free zone. Before too long, I know there's going to be online courses that people can do. That's inevitable. Just the fact of the culture has changed so much in the last 10 or 15 or 20 years with the advent of the internet. It's inevitable that these materials are going to be available and people are going to be able to study them on the internet. And with other ways of networking, like this video, for instance, with Skype and various other media, people are going to be able to interact over long distances, and the Scientology is going to evolve away from its current sort of brick and mortar ideal org, quote unquote, heavy messed buildings. It's going to be more free-flowing, much less messed involved, and it's going to make the communication a lot faster and a lot more fluid between people who are interested in the subject.